My name is Carrie. Standing outside the estate, the cool night air hitting my face, I'm still reeling from what just happened inside. The once jubilant retirement party for my dad has turned into a complete fiasco, all because of a truth that's just been revealed. Let me take you back. My dad, Mr. Anderson, had a long-standing career in real estate. He'd built a small but respected firm over 4 decades. Tonight was his retirement party, held in our family's grand estate. There were about 200 guests in the ballroom, his business partners, golf club friends, and relatives who'd traveled from far and wide. Mom, Mrs. Anderson, was beaming beside him, wearing a diamond necklace she'd saved up for this special occasion. I was standing at the back, sipping on a glass of water, observing. Dad took the stage and announced, "As I end my career, I want to pass on my legacy to the next generation." He then motioned to my brother, Leo. Leo, 32, had always been the golden child. He straightened his tie and stepped forward with an air of confidence. "Leo has the drive and the vision that our family stands for," Dad said. Leo's wife, Lily, clung to his arm and whispered something that made them both laugh. She'd been talking non-stop about redecorating the house for weeks, posting pictures of modern furniture on Instagram with captions like, "Finally getting our dream home." Dad continued, "I'm giving the estate, the beach house in Florida, and all our commercial properties downtown to Leo, effective immediately." The crowd erupted in applause. Mom wiped away a tear, and Aunt Grace grabbed my arm and said, "Isn't this wonderful? Your brother has worked so hard for this." I just took another sip of water and stayed silent. Leo wasted no time. He pulled out his phone and started calling a moving company. "We need a full-service move. The house is huge, and I want it done by next week," he said loudly. Dad's lawyer, Mr. Thompson, was standing by the bar, looking confused. He kept glancing at the papers in his briefcase, then at Dad and back at the papers. He caught my eye and gave me a small nod. Mom then came up to me. "Carrie, you could at least look happy for your brother. This is a big moment for him," she said, with that look that always meant she was about to criticize me. "If you'd chosen a proper career instead of working on those tech projects at home, maybe your father would have considered you," she added, then shook her head. "Well, it's too late now. Leo has proven himself." Leo had worked at Dad's firm for a few years before starting his own real estate consulting business. But he only had 2 clients, both referred by Dad. He'd sit in coffee shops, posting motivational quotes on LinkedIn about real estate disruption, but I didn't say anything. Lily walked up with her phone out, taking pictures of the chandelier. "We're going to redecorate this place completely. This old style is so out of date. I'm thinking of a contemporary look," she announced. Then she turned to me and said, "Carrie, you'll need to move out within a month. We want to start the renovations right away." Leo joined her and put his arm around her. This house was underutilized with just Mom and Dad living here. "Now it'll be a hub for our events," he said. Cousin Tom laughed and asked, "What about Carrie? Where will she go?" Leo shrugged. "She rents that small apartment downtown, doesn't she? She'll be fine. She doesn't have much anyway. No husband, no kids, just her laptop and those tech conferences." I calmly replied, "I actually own a townhouse." Leo just waved it off. "Same thing. This estate needs someone who can make the most of it, someone with social standing." Just then, Mr. Thompson pushed through the crowd. "Mr. Anderson, I need to speak with you immediately," he said firmly. Dad was annoyed at the interruption. "Thompson, this can wait until Monday. I'm celebrating with my family." Mr. Thompson replied, "No, sir, it can't. There's a serious legal issue with your announcement." The room fell silent. Dad frowned and said, "I'm giving my son my property. I can do what I want." Mr. Thompson pulled out a folder. "That's the problem, Mr. Anderson. These properties aren't yours to give." Leo laughed nervously and said, "What are you talking about? Dad bought this estate ages ago." Mr. Thompson said, "Yes, it's been in the family, but not in your father's name for the past 5 years." Mom's champagne glass stopped halfway to her lips. Mr. Thompson opened the folder and showed the property deeds. In 2018, Mr. Anderson faced a major financial crisis after some bad investments. He was hours away from losing all these properties. Carrie was the only one with the funds to help. She bought all the properties for about $3.8 million and has been the legal owner ever since. The silence in the room was deafening. Leo finally said, "That's impossible. Carrie doesn't have that kind of money. She just works from home." I quietly said, "I'm a software engineer. I've developed security software for several big companies and have 4 patents. 3 of them have been sold to major corporations." Mr. Thompson nodded and said, "Carrie is very successful in her field. She's been covering all the property expenses for 5 years, including taxes, maintenance, and insurance, and has invested an additional $600,000 in renovations." Mom's glass slipped from her fingers and shattered on the floor. "But this is our home," she whispered. "Mr. Thompson corrected her. "You've been living here as Carrie's tenants, and she hasn't charged you any rent." Dad finally found his voice and said, "Carrie, you never said anything." I replied, "You never asked. You assumed I was struggling because I work from home and don't show off my wealth." Dad asked, "Why let us think the estate was still mine?" I said, "I wanted you to enjoy your retirement without stress. You're my father after all." I thought it was a kind gesture. Mr. Thompson added, "But tonight, you tried to give away something you didn't own." Leo started shaking his head. "No, this is a mistake. Dad promised me this place." Mr. Thompson said, "Your father promised something he didn't have the right to give. Carrie, as the owner, needs to decide what to do next." All eyes turned to me. I said slowly, "We should discuss this privately at Mr. Thompson's office tomorrow at 9 a.m. Leo insisted, "We need to resolve this now. This is crazy. The family estate belongs to the family." I replied, "To the person whose name is on the deeds. That's me. Be there at 9 a.m. with Lily. You'll want to hear the terms of your tenancy." Lily's face went pale. "Terms?" I clarified. "Yes, if you want to live here, there will be terms. Mr. Thompson will draft them tonight." Leo said, "You can't just do this." I said, "I've supported this family for 5 years while you all looked down on my career. I'm done with the pretense." Mom started crying. "We didn't know." I repeated, "You never bothered to find out." Dad looked at the guests, knowing this would be the talk of the town for years. Leo said, "I already called the moving company." I suggested, "Cancel it unless you're planning to move. It might be a good idea depending on our talk tomorrow." Lily started crying angrily. "You let us plan. I bought furniture and hired a decorator." I said, "I wasn't consulted. You just assumed Leo deserved it more than me." Mr. Thompson closed his briefcase. "Carrie, I'll draft some options for tomorrow's meeting. We can discuss tenant agreements or even the possibility of selling the properties." Mom gasped, "Carrie, you wouldn't sell the family estate." I said, "It was ours from being lost 5 years ago. I've owned it for 5 years." The guests started whispering. I heard bits like big debt and daughters saved everything. One of Leo's clients approached him and said, "Leo, I had no idea your family situation was so complex. We might need to review our project timeline." I watched as Leo's reputation as the successful heir started to crumble. Dad said he needed some air and headed to the terrace, with Mom following. Leo and Lily stood there, looking lost. Aunt Grace then came up to me and said, "Carrie, dear, I had no idea you were so successful. We should have lunch and talk about investments." I politely declined. Mr. Thompson touched my elbow. "Let's get you out of here. We can finalize details over the phone tonight." As we walked out, Cousin Tom called out, "Carrie, wait. I always knew you were smart." I didn't respond. As we got into Mr. Thompson's car, he asked, "How are you feeling?" I admitted, tired. I spent 5 years pretending to be less than I am so Dad could retire with dignity. but tonight he tried to give away my property without asking. I'm done pretending. Mr. Thompson opened his briefcase again. How strict do you want the tenant agreements? I thought about Leo's moving call, Lily's renovation plans, and my family's dismissal of my career. Very strict. Market rate rent, first and last month's rent up front, and a 90-day termination clause. And if they're late on a single payment, eviction proceedings start immediately, even for my parents. I looked back at the estate, lit up for a party that was supposed to be a celebration but turned into a wake-up call for my family. They'll learn that respect and appreciation are important in a family, I said. Mr. Thompson smiled grimly. 9 a.m. tomorrow. This will be interesting. I added, get me valuations for the downtown properties. I might sell some assets and start fresh somewhere that values competence. Mr. Thompson asked, are you considering selling everything? I thought about the past 5 years of being overlooked and said, I'm considering my options. That's what successful people do. Just then, my phone buzzed. A text from Leo. We need to talk before tomorrow. You're ruining the family. I deleted it. Another from Mom. Please reconsider. Your father is humiliated. Have some compassion. I turned off my phone. As we drove away, I said to Mr. Thompson, they still don't get it. They're not sorry for how they treated me. They're just upset they got caught. Mr. Thompson replied, these situations often end with consequences, not remorse. Tomorrow morning, my family will come to Mr. Thompson's office, expecting me to be lenient. But they're about to learn that ownership is about legal reality, not assumptions. And I'm finally ready to take control of my own life and my properties.